Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Independent Street Tarot and Seasons from Ritual. And I'm here to talk about this beautiful dark moon on the 6/6 portal that is happening today. It's dark moon in Gemini. Um, and we have the dark moon, that is always when the sun and the moon are conjunct, they're together. So that is our divine masculine and divine feminine meeting up to go into this beautiful space of rest and creation. I am wearing my ear pods today because we've got a lot going on. It's raining, so it's dark. And there's some things going on at my house. So we're just going to hopefully do it this way. And I made the choice to do it this way. And that is the big thing about Gemini season. Gemini is all about choice. And we're coming into a time where we really have to start making choices to move forward, because we really have to start getting acclimated to the energy that new beginnings are here. I was watching, I don't know, I read a thing from Lee Harris energy, and he was saying that we are so used of being in endings that sometimes when we start with beginnings, it's very discombobulating, quite honestly. And I know there have been a lot of us that for the past couple weeks have been, the energy has just been flat. There was no inspiration. There was no get up to go and to do anything, just like simple tasks. And what was coming through for me on that was the idea that because we have to be aware that we are in a new beginning, we are at a new start. And we had to push out all that old energy in order to allow ourselves to be like, okay, well, what's the new energy? You know, like I remember it was like 2 weeks ago or a week and a half. And, usually I wake up and I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do today. And I kind of go over things. And I woke up and I had been kind of feeling that energy, and it was like just kind of feeling bored. It was an energy of just being bored. And so I kind of kept sitting with it, and I was like, okay, well, this is energy, or this is interesting. And then it just hit a peak, and it was just like, oh, I'm bored. And I think that was what's signaling. Like I didn't want to do anything. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Go sit on the couch today? Wow, And that's not really myself or my personality. And so, that's also a good thing. Like they keep saying, like we've got to know ourselves. So when these things come up, we can question them, like, okay, well, what's going on? And so I was questioning, which is also good because Gemini is communication, right? Mercury, who is at home in Gemini right now. And it was just like, if you want to move forward, you have to allow new energy. You can't keep doing things in the same energy. You can't keep doing things with the same thoughts, right? Gemini is thoughts. It's time to really accept that there's a new game on the planet, right? Like a new energy on the planet. And it's really time for us to start acclimating to this new energy. And so I really do think this dark moon in Gemini is probably one of the most powerful dark moons that we've had so far all year. Coming out of the eclipse, coming out of that conjunction with Uranus and Jupiter and Taurus, still in this energy of that Venus Cazimi, because Venus is still conjunct the sun right now. So that means Venus is in on this conversation of this dark moon. And it is this divine feminine energy that is here, right? We have the moon, which is the divine feminine, and we have Venus, which is the divine feminine. And Venus is bringing in all that energy and all that information she took in, leaving her home sign of Taurus, coming into Gemini, right? And she gets to share it. Like she gets to talk about it. She gets to feel it. She gets to make these choices and say, okay, this is how we're going to go moving forward. This is how we're going to speak moving forward. Venus and Taurus rule the throat. So this dark moon with the masculine and feminine together is really this beautiful time to start assimilating, right? Acclimating this energy, because it's not going anywhere. Like she's still full throttle. She's in a full Venus. And if you guys want more information on that, the other video I just posted a few days ago talks about this Cazimi. If I knew what I was doing with like technology, I'd point, and then there would be a little bar that you could click on, but you just got to go find it. It's the other video. but I digress, right? So working with this dark moon in Gemini. Gemini is the twins. Gemini rules choice. Gemini rules technology, information, communication. Mercury is now in Gemini. So we have who's home at Gemini. So we have Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Taurus, and the sun. We've got 5 planets all in Gemini. That's a lot of energy, right? And this is the energy that we've got to assimilate. And we have to remember when we talk about the sun, we can't forget about all these solar storms that are happening, right? Like he's giving off so much energy, so much power, right? Because it's got to get to this planet. It's got to change things up. Venus is welcoming it. We're all welcoming it. We're all looking up. We're all opening that heart center, which is one of the twins. I always believe Gemini is the head and the heart. Gemini likes to get a lot of information, right? So now we've got a lot of information. We've got a lot of information. So I really believe that this is the time now we start moving forward. We start making choices. We have Black Moon Lilith that's at 15 degrees of Libra. So she's trining this dark moon, right? And again, Black Moon Lilith, Lilith is known to be the first wife of Adam. She didn't submit, so she left the garden because she said, I'm going to be my authentic self. So she's in on this conversation. And so we have to really start to understand this idea of receiving. And that's because that's that divine feminine energy. The Empress, she sits in the tarot, right? She sits in the garden because she's just receiving. She knows how to receive. And that has been not the case for a lot of us on the planet. No matter how we present, no matter what our pronouns are, we really have forgotten how to receive. We've been in this energy of go, go, go. We've been in this energy of do, do, do. The more you do, the more you do, the more you receive, right? Or the more you get, right? That was supposed to be the storyline. A lot of that has to do with that Pluto in Capricorn. But now Pluto is in Aquarius, and Aquarius is about the individual. Aquarius is about the collective. Aquarius is about ruled by Uranus, which is the rebellion, right? And so we're rebelling against all those old ideas that we can't receive. We're rebelling against those old ideas that we just got to show up and work no matter what we're working on in order to get something, because a lot of us have done a lot of work and haven't felt like we've got our fair share, right? And I think that's really important too when it comes to spiritual healing and spiritual growth. A lot of us have been doing the work. A lot of us show up every day. And so this is time now, friends, start to shift into this idea of receiving love, receiving that the endings are here. And so these new beginnings can start. I was watching Pam Gregory, and she was saying the good thing about Gemini is like you can say, I choose to, and put in, fill in the blank, right? So you can choose to be healed. You can choose to have this new beginning. You can choose to receive. And you can always ask, right? We're in Gemini. Gemini loves to talk. I can't stress that enough. So you can say, what does it look like to receive? What does it feel like to receive? In my mind, am I thinking I can receive? And it's not this idea of being worthy or this, that, or the other. It's just, can I receive? Am I paying attention to when I receive anything? Receive compliments, receive my food. When a person gives me something, am I receiving it? To start getting into that energy of receiving, right? Receiving mode. I don't know where that's from, but receiving mode. So, because again, Black Moon Lilith is in on this conversation. The sun is in on this conversation. The sun is our solar plexus, it what moves us. The moon is in on this conversation. Venus is in on this conversation. So this is affecting all of us in a big way. My cat is in on this conversation. So all the things. Okay, meow meows. It's raining. I don't know if she's upset. So the other thing I wanted to mention is that on the low end, which was perfect timing, Gemini can get distracted, right? Gemini can keep spinning. Gemini can't make a choice, right? And so notice if that's happening and understand making a choice is making the choice to move forward, right? And then when you start, like it's choosing that lane. I said that this morning. It's like choosing a lane. If you don't like that lane, put your blinker on and get in another lane. But the thing is that we have to move forward. Okay. We can't keep waiting around. Like everything is pretty much being presented. Okay. And it's time for us to say, well, this is what I see. This is what I'm receiving. This is how I'm communicating. So let's move forward. Okay. And it can be done with love. It can be done with, gusto, whatever. It could be done quietly. It could be done with grace, right? It can be done with compassion. But this dark moon is really telling us, right? You have all this feminine energy, Black Moon, Lilith, the moon, and Venus sitting here with the sun. And then you have Mercury Mercury there, right? In his home sign of Gemini. So we've got to start this new conversation that there's new energy on Earth, that there's new ways to go forward, that there's new ways to receive. And the thing is, it might not look like how we thought it was supposed to look. We've got to ask the universe, the spirit, your angels, science, a lamp, whatever. What does this look like for me in my life at this point right now? And see what happens. We have to start staying conscious in our minds right now. If an old memory or something comes up and you're like, oh, this is coming up, you have to then say, I'm staying conscious working through this, right? I'm staying conscious. I'm not going to fall unconscious and then keep making the same decisions. The idea and the feeling of staying conscious, and I tell myself this all the time, I'm staying conscious today. I'm staying conscious right now. I'm staying conscious as I work through this, has made a huge difference. The other thing that I want to touch on is Saturn is squaring this new moon, so which also means it's squaring Venus. And as we know, Saturn's still in Pisces. And let me tell you, lower Pisces vibes, right, is the illusion. It's confusion. It's not making any decisions. It's victimhood. It's, narcissism. And so this square during this dark moon is really going to highlight that. It's really going to highlight where you've been fooling yourself in a situation. It's like a reality check. Okay. It's ripping the Band-Aid off. So know that. And that could be really good. I mean, it's going to be good for all of us. How we handle it now is a whole other thing. But really lean into this reality check, like lean into this, like, this is a good time to like maybe look back on the last 3 months. You thought you were making these choices, but where's your life right now? Is it the same? And if it is, okay, well, what choices can I make to move myself forward? Gemini being a mutable sign, right, allows for us for expansion, allows for us to move easier, right, allows for things to be lifted, new ideas to come in, not being stuck in the mud. You can make that choice of, oh yeah, no, that's what I'm doing right now. Even if it comes after one of these motions, right? And it's really important to take a look at your life. And if you're choosing to move forward and you're still working with those same old stories, then that's you fighting your ego, right? And the sun, which represents Leo in its lower form, is the ego, right? Like Leo can be very egotistical when it's in its lower vibe. So we've really got to see and have that conversation. Am I not moving forward because I'm sticking with the story because it lights up my ego? Ego's not bad, but lower ego keeps us stuck, right? Higher ego is that inspiration, that idea, that feeling, oh, we can do it. We can all do it. I can do it. You can do it, right? That's the beautiful energy of Leos when they're in their higher self. So look and see the choices that you're making. Look and see if you'd like to make different choices. Look to see if we're still fighting and having that same conversation with the lower ego. This is a good time as we finish up Gemini season. Gemini it's the reporter, right? Like it likes to gather facts, so it can talk about things. It doesn't mean it likes to argue about things. It likes to know facts, right? So work with that. See where these reality checks are coming up. Ask yourself, because we have all this information coming in, but like with yourself, right? The dark moon is where we sit with ourselves, where we rest, where we can be in this deep conversation. Ask yourself, who am I now? And then ask yourself, stay conscious while I go through this. Who am I now? Where is it that I like to go? What is it that's really important for me? What is it that's really important for me to focus on? You know, it's information. If you are focusing on information that's not making you happy or keeping you stuck, then you got to change that focus and find information that's going to make you happy and keep moving forward. Okay, choose, right? Like Pam Greger says, please choose. I choose to. Okay. Authentic self, authentically receiving, but moving forward. Gemini, head in the heart, right? They've got to be in alignment, right? We had the parade of planets in alignment, right? We've really got to start being okay with receiving and understanding what that looks and feels like in this day and age, right? We're in a new day and age. Okay, you guys, I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions, please reach out. You know, I always like when you guys leave comments. Happy dark moon, right? Slash new moon in Gemini. This is an exciting time because we're moving forward, but we have to choose to move forward, and we have to choose in order to move forward. I understand it's not going to look like the past, right? Okay, friends, till next time.